Well, this is a little different. Welcome to Live from My Recliner, a service of Live from My Office. And also, this particular program is called Anything But Politics, where I ask my friends to give up their time and join me to talk about anything but politics. One of the best guys I know and one of the funniest people I know. It's been a great pleasure getting to know Jim Flannigan, who joins me now. I give you the sitting ovation.
I am honored to be here, Steve. How you
Now,
feeling?
yeah, the reason I'm in a recliner is I had my left knee replaced 3 weeks ago today. Today being December 8th. It's great. It's great. Lack of sleep, a lot of pain. It's great. Now I'm getting to the other side of it, but it's a bit of a bear. I had the right knee done in 2021. So I just had the left knee done. And yeah, you may think I'm crazy, but on the left knee, I upgraded. I went with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and I got a
Sure,
backup
sure.
camera. I
Oh,
got a
that's nice.
backup
That's the way
camera
to
as
do it.
well, so I can see what's behind me. Yeah. So now we were talking off the air. You had your shoulder done?
I did several years back, and not the same, intensity because you can still walk, which is great. But for the first few weeks, like you live in a recliner. It just felt like when you're a kid and you go to your friend's house and one of their grandparents lives there and just like is just glued to a recliner 24 hours a day. That's how I felt.
And the great news is daytime TV is fantastic.
Oh,
Oh, the
it's so good.
choices. Yeah, yeah. And it gets better every day. So let's talk about you, my stand-up friend. You are, again, one of the funniest people I know, and you're running around the country doing stand-up. You got shows coming up. Let's start with our friends at Zanies. When will you be at Zanies?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to be there. I'll be there this weekend, December 12th and 13th. I'll be in Chicago Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday the 14th, I'll be in Rosemont. So making a stop at both of my favorite clubs. I do it once a year. Come on out. I'd
That's
love to
great.
see you guys. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Zanies.com for tickets out for all the shows, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Zanies.com and just look up Jim Flannigan and you'll find me there.
And you started a new holiday tradition for the Flanagan family, I suppose, where you're only doing the major holidays on cruise ships.
Yeah, we had started a family tradition last year where we'd started going to a restaurant for the major holidays. You get to a point where you're tired of annoying each other and you want to start branching out into annoying other people's families,
Sure, I
and
understand.
yeah, that very quickly got to me. I have like an uncle who doesn't even get invited, just shows up. He's like, I don't need a chair, I'll just stand. I'm drinking dinner this year.
Oh,
I have an
nice.
aunt I have an aunt who walks up to other people's tables, just starts stuff with them, just like, oh, that looks good. Oh, I couldn't eat all that. Hey, who'd you guys vote for? Just like really gets them going and walks away. So this year, I decided I'd make a little money on the holidays. I decided I'd get away, and I did a cruise ship on Thanksgiving, which feels a little on the nose if you think about it. To be out there traveling from country to country. Just 2,000 English speakers on a boat going to foreign lands. They had to be a little terrified when we pulled in every day.
Did you feel like just to be a smartass, whenever you would stop in any port, you'd come out and go, America, we're finally here.
I brought a flag with me, and yeah, I would just
Oh, you
plant it
claimed
down
it for
everywhere we
yourself.
went. I really did, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. That's
This
great.
is Belize of America now.
Now, if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever, you can't tell that Jim also had his hair beach braided. And by the way, it's very sexy.
Thank you very much. It's cultural appropriation in the hottest form.
So I did a couple of Disney cruise gigs, but they were on the radio. And my family was with me both times because I don't know, it feels like it might be a little creepy to do a Disney cruise alone as a single man.
Makes
Um,
sense.
but so the accommodations were for family. Where do they put the comedian yourself on the ship?
Yeah, it's a good question. Depends on the cruise line. Holland takes great care of you. You've got a great bunk, top of the ship. Like you got your own cabin. It's beautiful. Um, Great service. Carnival, you are below deck, and not in like the cool TV show below deck type of way. Like
Oh, you're in
you live in the
steerage.
galleys. Yeah, it's like and there's like a prison system down there, Steve. There's like there's signs. People have they do like massages in their room. Other people do like haircuts. Like
Wow.
they've got their they've got their own economy because they're on there for 6 to 8 months. When you think about the regular employees who are on these things, they're on there all the time. So they have these little side hustles going. It's really unique to see. It's a cool experience, and it gave me a lot of respect for the guys who are out there all the time. It's not an easy life.
No, it's not. And I know how much you love the Carnival Company, and they've been great to me in the past as well.
100%.
I don't suppose they let the regular folks down where you guys are.
They don't. They don't. They spare them that. That is just for us, which is nice. You got to have your own space somewhere, right? So it's
Sure.
yeah, so that's down there. That's just for us.
The Carnival experience, well, any cruise ship for that matter. You've got the dinner seatings, which used to be like locked down. I think it's a little more freeform now. But then you got the buffets, and you can get food 24 hours a day, which to me seems like really dangerous if you're trying not to die.
It's a bad idea because and also when you're an entertainer, there's really not a whole lot else to do, right? So you're like, oh, I'm just going to go for a walk, and then where are you going to walk to but the buffet? And you're
Yeah,
like, oh, I'll just grab my seventh meal of the day, and I'll work it off. I'm walking, right? But yeah, there's no way. I mean, there's no way to feel healthy on one of those cruise ships because you can get food 24 hours a day, but you can't get a smoothie at 3 a.m. You're not getting,
right.
you're not getting a protein bowl at 11:30 in the morning. You are getting Guy Fieri burgers, whatever they've got for you at the moment.
Bacon and eggs and whatever.
You got it.
So, so you did the Caribbean for Thanksgiving,
I did.
and will the Caribbean be the Christmas cruise as well?
Yeah, it will. So I did Alaska over the summer, which is kind of a unique experience because it's a longer trip. Like they're
Got
there
to be
for a week.
beautiful,
They're there to, it's gorgeous. They're there to see stuff. Like it's just, and less kids. Bringing your kids on a cruise ship is something you can probably handle for 2 to 3 days, but seven in the Alaskan wilderness, a lot fewer people are willing to make that sacrifice. So it's just a different experience. But in the winter, yeah, this will be my second time going to the Caribbean. I had never really spent any time there, and it's kind of wild. I had heard rumors of like people in the trees hiding out, like offering you illicit substances, and
wow,
it's real. They are just out there trying to sell you whatever,
making a
and they
living.
get pretty. Yeah, there was a guy who was like crystal meth. I was like, wait, what? And he goes, "Hey, you're in the islands, man." And I was like, "Okay, no, but has that ever worked?" Like that's
Right.
a crazy sales pitch. Like was someone like, "Well, I did take Monday off just in case."
Well, what's funny is it kind of brings it full circle, right? Because with this knee replacement, I have access to high-end painkillers. Now, I didn't have to go to the beach to get them or go to to get them as well, but I still believe I'm hallucinating. And I see a guy in a tree who goes, more oxy. So maybe your guy, might be your guy. I don't know.
Might be.
So here's the thing about doing stand up on a cruise. And this is anything but politics. Thanks for listening. But when you're doing stand up on a cruise, normally at a comedy club, people have a destination. They say, hey, let's go see Flannigan. Let's go see Jimmy. He's funny. All right, how much tickets? Let's get the tickets. We go to zanies.com. We're gonna go to downtown Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I forget what you said are going to be in Rosemont, and we're gonna
Sunday
get
in
those tickets.
Rosemont.
Different on the cruise because on the cruise I've paid to be on the boat. Now on the boat, and by the way, the captain loves when you call it a boat. I paid to be on the boat, and when you're on the boat, everything show wise is you want to go see it, go see it.
This is why you're the best in the business. You laid that out perfectly. And I wish we had that conversation before I left because you have to have a different mindset when you're performing out there. Because on some of these, there's just one theater, right? And it is just whatever show is happening that night. So people walk in, walk out. And you watch them because it's pretty bright in there. You see them leave, so you just have to lie to yourself and be like, "Oh, I bet they have dinner reservations. I
Right?
bet they, yeah. Oh, I bet they're tired from sitting around their cabin all day since it's a sea day. We didn't go
Sure.
to port, but sometimes you're just not for them because they also don't know what type of comedy they're seeing, which is very unique, right? Like you go to a comedy club, you at least have some expectation of it. You kind of
Yeah,
you
they're
may
fans of
understand.
yours, they're followers of yours.
Yeah,
In this case, they stumble on them.
absolutely, and they
So have
and
you had
they're
some
on.
Chicago? You're a Chicago guy. Have you had some Chicago area folks who didn't know you were doing the cruise that came on?
Yeah, so I have. I've run into some Chicago people out there who are great. Some of them are actually coming to the shows this weekend, so
Oh,
it's cool because it does allow you to build some new fans and a
sure.
thicker skin at the same time. You get a little bit of the best of both. Because people are on
Yeah.
vacation, Steve. They'll say anything they want to you. I was just in line for breakfast one day, and a guy goes, "Hey, you're Flanagan, the comedian." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Wasn't for me." Oh, okay, great.
Wow.
I'll take my
Wow.
breakfast to go. Yeah. Spent the rest of that day trying to
Wow.
figure out how to jump out of a tiny round window.
So do you take part in any of the other amenities on the ship? It always amused me that there were huge swimming pools on the ship. Well, the biggest pool in the world is right over the side.
You are
But
right. You can get there.
yeah, but there's pools and there's all sorts of stuff. Like, do you know what the amenities are going to be on this Carnival cruise?
Yeah, I don't know what the amenities are yet, but I mean, they're loaded, they're stocked. That's the cool thing about these. Like, it's I make jokes. They're tough work for entertainers, but when you're on vacation, they're a blast. You've got everything. There's water slides, there's pools, there's Carnival has like a specific comedy club, so they're at least walking into a room for comedy, which is nice. Like
Nice.
everyone does it differently, but like when but basically that in some ways that kind of makes it harder because you're watching everyone else have the time of their lives. They've got all these things they can do, and you've got nothing but time on your hands and a free buffet.
Which could be the title of your next album.
Absolutely, probably should be.
Yeah, time on my hands and a free buffet. So, who introduces you? Is there a ship MC?
It's usually someone from like who also does bingo or the Family Feud or some other event on the ship. I've been blessed with really good ones who just kind of tell them to be quiet, remind them to keep their phones off and pay attention and start the
So
show.
it's like the Carnival hype
Sometimes
man.
yeah, it really is, and they're great. Again, I've only done one for Carnival, and it was an awesome experience. But I've heard horror stories of other places where the hype man will try and do 10 minutes before you go up, and just how it is, Steve. They're just digging you a hole,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
like you start from zero, you can handle that. You
Right,
start from less than
right.
zero, like
Not good.
you're just burning material just to get them back to where it would have been if the guy said nothing.
Not good. Not good. Not helpful. And what is the most interesting experience you've had? Now, you mentioned Below Deck. Below Deck is this crazy popular reality show where a lot of really good-looking people are on these chartered yachts, and they spend most of the day having sex with each other and then talking about how to get out of work while the incredibly spoiled rich people are upstairs waiting for more caviar to be brought to them. I assume it's just like that for you.
It really has been, Steve. Yeah, no, it's mostly just sex and caviar. That's why I do it. No, it couldn't be further from that. I mean, the show Below Deck is as far from Below Deck as cruise ship comedy is to comedy. You know what I mean? It is. It's technically the same thing, but it's entirely the opposite. I mean, I haven't had any crazy experiences down there. It's just kind of when you first walk down there. First of all, they know who you are. They know that when Jim Flannigan walks on the ship, they know that I'm not the new personal trainer. They know that I'm not a new cook. They're like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
you're the entertainment. You're going to be here for a week. We don't even need to get to know who you are." So they leave
So,
you alone.
so some of them, so it's high schoolish then, a little clicky.
Absolutely, because they're on there for months at a time, and
Uh,
and I don't think I'm telling stories out of school here, but when you're on the crew, you are not allowed to fraternize with the staff member, or excuse me, with the customers. But when you're on there for 6 to 8 months, you've got to fraternize with somebody. So the crew kind of they're very territorial, if you will. That might be a
I
good way
was
to
going to
put it.
say
They kind of
how much fraternizing is going on, and does it bother you when you're trying to sleep?
It does not bother me when I'm trying to sleep. Thankfully, there's enough other noises to bother you while you're sleeping that doesn't because they put the comedians like right next to the motor, right next to the engine that runs the
In
thing.
the engine room.
Um,
So are you having to
exactly.
get up and do a coal shoveling
I'm
shift?
coal shoveling. Yep, I do coal shoveling twice a night, and that's the other part of
Wow.
it that you don't have to do in a normal club. So it makes it pretty interesting. I get to, but that's the workout. You don't get access to the gym, so you get a shovel and have at it.
You know, as a healthy single male, I assume you're still single.
I'm dating someone right now. We're in the new phases where all the things she'll eventually hate about my career are still kind of fun and new.
Oh,
You know what I'm
okay. All
talking
right,
about?
cool.
Yeah. It's kind of
Um,
like
and, And because you're younger than I am, but because we're not 20 something anymore, generally I think this woman would probably be someone who would understand this is your job. But is there any sort of
Hmm.
jealousy, where she's going, you be careful down there. Some of those girls are sluts.
Well, I haven't told her about any of this until she listens to the episode, so we'll
Oh
find out if
no.
we're going to have that
Oh
conversation.
no.
So,
I'm
no, I
sure
don't think
she's a
so.
delight.
She's great. She's great. But it is kind of in that phase where it all still seems fun. It's kind of like, those like offices where they're like, we get to drink on Fridays, which sounds fun until like you need an HR person on Friday afternoon and everybody's blasted. That's kind of like the first couple months of dating a comic. Like, oh, you travel all the time. It's going to be great until all of a sudden you start missing weddings, and every
Well,
Friday night you're gone. Like, oh, this
how about
sucks.
missing Christmas, or will she be with you?
Nope, missing Christmas also. Yeah.
This will be your first Christmas together.
It will, but like I said, it's in the new phases. So she's doing her thing with her family. I'm doing my thing with my cruise ship. We're both going to be okay.
I have to tell you that, and you probably know this, but um, women don't forget things. So if this works out in a big way, let's say this works out in a big
Hmm.
way, you fall madly in love with each other, you end up getting married, having children. It'll be 40 years down the road. She's going to be telling the story at the Thanksgiving table, not in the Bahamas, but wherever she wants to have it, about how you missed the first Christmas.
Probably.
And, that,
This is the
by
first
the
time.
way, that doesn't make her a bad person. That's just
Not at all.
genetically the difference between men and women.
Just the disposition there is, right? Well, what are you going to do? I mean, if we make it to that point, I think that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I think I'll handle that story if we get there.
What does she do?
She is in tech. I don't really know much more than that, if I'm being honest, Steve. She uses a lot of big words that I don't quite understand. The tech business has changed significantly since I was in it. It's very AI dominant now, and it's just a really interesting time for those type of positions.
Is she? Do you have enough knowledge of it where you won't go, "Hey, honey, I can't get online. Will you look at my Wi-Fi?" Is she that person to go to in your house?
Good question. She's not like IT tech. I only know that because I've tried to use her as IT on several occasions. Like one day my printer wasn't working, and I was like, "Hey, since you're here, would you mind just taking a look?" She's like, "That's not what I do." I'm like, "Yeah, I figured that's not what you do. I'll handle it." So yeah, I've tried that, and it doesn't work out very well for me.
In 1980, when I went off to college, it was Ithaca College, the Bombers, Division III, and a great school for theater and
Hmm.
for broadcasting, which you might remember is radio, now dead, and television, and
Heard
kind
of
of
them?
dead. Yeah,
Hmm.
and my grandmother at the time, when she heard about what I was doing, said, "That's great because my zenith is on the fritz."
So when she heard television and broadcast, she thought it meant
Yeah.
television repair.
Now, sadly enough, she was born in 1902. She was 90 something when she passed, and when she left this planet, her zenith was still on the fritz.
I'm sorry
I
to hear
wasn't
that.
able to. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? All right, now I want to point out something else. I have all the instincts of a live show because that's what I've done my entire life. So I'm tempted to remind people I'm talking to my friend Jim Flannigan. Obviously, if they've made the choice to listen, they know it's Jim Flannigan. They're already here. But I do want to
Sure.
apologize to you, my friend, because we talked about high school I don't know if you did this in high school, but in high school, the football team on game days, we would wear our jerseys to school. And, it was cool.
Yes.
It was cool. Um, in entertainment, you should never wear your own merchandise. And if you can tell, I'm wearing a Steve Cochran hat. There couldn't be a dorkier move, but I'll tell you why I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it because um, the lighting is such in this different position while I recover from knee surgery that I looked balder than I've ever looked in my life. And because of that, and the light bouncing off my giant cranium, grab the first
Sure.
hat we could get. It's the Steve Cochran hat. Yeah, trust me, I have an ego, but I'm not that big an ass. I'm wearing this just because it was the hat closest to me. I just felt like I should
I,
apologize to you.
All good. I would never bring it up, but I do know that feeling. Wearing your own merch, it feels different, doesn't it?
It
It's not
does.
something you're proud of, but in this case, it works. I did a little TV spot last week plugging these shows, and I had someone helping with my makeup, and she goes, "Hey, would you like me to put some powder on the top of your head?" So I can understand the glare from the bald spot that you're speaking of. I wish I had a Steve Cochran hat in that moment, so I just could have popped it on and not dealt with that embarrassment. But I was like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and powder me
Yeah.
up there? Thank you very much for asking.
I know a guy in the business, and it's somebody you'll know as well, and I won't say his name because he's still a friend, but he had the spray on hair and he had the smallest hint of a bald spot. But before he would go on, one of the makeup people, and by the way, TV doesn't even have makeup people per se anymore. You're
Correct.
bringing in
You
your own
do your
makeup.
own.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I don't know if you remember, it looks sort of like silly string. And you would spray it on your head and it would mimic hair. And then you would
Yeah,
wash it out immediately afterwards, part of the chemical seeping into your brain.
sure.
Um, and I got a friend whose son is a handsome devil, all of maybe 35. He's now getting hair transplants. I thought that business was over, and apparently it's hotter than ever.
It is moved to Turkey, is what's happened. It is, I mean, I'm hearing stories. I have not done it myself. I can prove that to you by showing you the top of my head that I have not done a hair transplant
It's
myself.
fine. We've run the
Uh,
tests. We believe you.
Thank you. But I'm hearing stories of like just planes coming back from Turkey, just full of guys with their heads bandaged. Because I guess you have to have it wrapped for 2 weeks. Could you imagine that? You get on the plane after your transplant, and it's just a bunch of dudes in hats and Steve Cochran hats with head wraps underneath them.
Head
It
reps.
is like, yeah, it's wild.
Wow. And narrow-minded Americans wondering about terrorism, they'll throw you.
Boy, coming in from Turkey as well, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
uh I I partake in something called Topics powder. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Does it work? I've heard of it.
It it does. It's just you can't really use it when it's windy out. I'll tell you that, because then then your hairline will erode throughout the course of a day. I
Now,
was
has
at
this
an
new
outdoor
girlfriend
wedding.
reassured you? Has the new girlfriend reassured you that she finds it cute?
She had to, yeah, because she found out when it was on her pillow one time. You know what I mean? Like when you first spend the night, and all of a sudden the hair that
Yeah.
was on my head is
Yeah.
now on the pillow. So yeah, she had to be okay with it real quick. So it doesn't bother her at this point.
I got a nifty piece of software. It's an app I can send you, and it's hair taps. And what happens is every time you lose a hair, there's a grid. You number the hairs according to what's left. You check off on the grid, and taps plays. And it's a nice exercise to say goodbye to the hair you're losing.
The sad part is I could number the hairs I have left. That's the worst part of
Yeah.
that. There's few enough
Yeah.
left to where I could name them at this point, like dwarves.
Well, here's what I love about your stand up and your act and what you do on stage. You are funny for everybody. You are not a guy who's got to go F bombing. You're a guy who can drop one if it need be, but you're not a guy who needs to work dirty. You're also not a guy who tries to be so antiseptically clean that it's a turnoff to some people. And I think it's one of the reasons that in a fairly short amount of time you've gotten as big as you've gotten is because people come in, everybody I know, and I was the same way the first time they saw you. Everybody I know goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe I haven't seen him before." Now, Jim Flannigan, he's great. So of the guys out there who do the kind of act I'm describing, I think of guys like Nate Bargatze, who's as big as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Gaffigan to a degree, though he does a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Jim's act is about Jim.
Sure.
Um, who else? Mulaney. Mulaney is a similar
Mulaney, yeah.
guy. These are the guys you remind me of.
Man, that is high praise coming from you. So I can't thank you enough. Yeah, I try to be open to everybody. I think there's a good friend of ours when I started, Mike Toomey, had told me that uh,
One of the funniest stand-ups ever.
unbelievable. Just yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
he had told me that most comics are really locked into audiences within about 10 to 15 years of their age, one way or another, right? And I believe that to be true, but I want to be as accessible to anybody as possible. I try,
Sure.
to kind of make myself the butt of the joke sometimes. So like I'm not really hammering too hard on other people. I want it to be something that everyone can enjoy. And I think I've been fortunate enough to get that feedback from 20-year-olds to 80-year-olds and everyone in between. I mean, I do try and have, a show that everyone can enjoy. And it's going to be a blast. I've got a lineup with me that's just absolutely incredible. The very funny Maggie Hughes DiPaolo is opening for me,
Oh,
who
she's
is
great.
absolutely, she's
Love her.
great. She's blowing up right now.
Tell her hello for me.
I absolutely will, Steve. Yeah. So it's just going to be a really fun night, and it's the type of thing where I love doing these in December because it's the type of thing where if you have family in and you want something to do with them, it's the type of show you can take them to see, and it's not going to be a really awkward car ride on the way home. If you want to get rid of them, it's the type of thing you can send your family to, and they won't be mad at you.
Sure.
You can go and leave them at home with your kids. Like it really, I like doing these in December because it's an opportunity for people just to get out and have a good time.
Yeah, and zanies.com for tickets downtown and also in Rosemont. Rosemont, I think we agree, is one of the best rooms in the country. And Zanies downtown is one of the most unique because at one point it was a strip club.
Yeah,
Now, have you taken that part out of your act?
I have not. So I really pay homage to the original Zanies when I'm there. So I do a little bit of a pole dance, and
You do.
that part might not be for the whole family. Yeah, that part we do warn people, and we have them sign a waiver and everything because there's injuries at times. But for the most part, we keep it clean.
It's funny you say that because since radio died,
Hmm.
I considered getting back on the pole, but you hire a couple of spotters, man. It gets expensive.
Agreed. But I thought that's what you got the new niece for. I thought you were limbering up to get back out there and rekindle
Let's
that
just
dancing
say I'm
career.
keeping my options open.
I like to hear that
Yeah,
from you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Steve.
yeah. All right, so you're going to be gone for Christmas. Does that relieve you of the duties of tipping people in your lives? Because even though we live in a culture now since COVID where they're giving you the credit card machine with the tip choices already on it and they haven't done anything yet, even though
Hmm.
that's the world we now live in, there's still the holiday tradition of tipping. Now, on a cruise
Absolutely.
ship, could the comedian get tipped?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess you could. I haven't had it happen yet, but I will stand out there with a bucket if it's an opportunity. Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't run. You'll run into randomly on the road. You'll just be at a club sometimes, and someone will just be like, "Here's $20, here's $50," and I encourage it. Anyone who wants to do that, please come see me this weekend. I would
You know what's
love
funny
for you
about
to be
that?
there.
Yeah, I love that. But you know what's funny about that is there's no shame in that whatsoever anymore because everybody's asking for money. Every internet site you go to, I mean, the incredibly accomplished superstar entertainers have a donation button you can click.
Yeah.
It's all stuff nobody would have considered 20 years ago.
I got a notification earlier this week. I took a screenshot of it because no one believes me. Lyft sent me a notice saying, "Hey, if you want to tip your driver a few bucks extra, go ahead. It's their birthday month." I was like, "Wow." I didn't know I was trying to sponsor this guy.
Wow.
I mean, I just give him a little walking around money because it's his birthday month. I mean, what are the chances of that? 1 in 12? I mean, it's not that
So,
unique of a thing.
yeah, and does that mean you take them to Six Flags next summer? It sounds like
I
sort of a forced Big Brother program.
Yeah, it's the thing. And they said your driver, like this wasn't a stranger who picked me up from Midway and tried to kill me multiple times on the 30-minute
Sure,
commute, you know? He was
sure.
like turned around talking to me the whole time, like just telling me
Right,
his life story. You think I don't know it's his birthday month? He brought it up several times,
right,
okay?
right. Is that the guy you told me stopped at Target and wanted you to get him something?
You really did.
Huh.
Absolutely. He had me just get
Yeah.
out, pick up a couple of things for him. I was going to, but I told them I had just found out that my barista had laryngitis, so I kind of sent my money there instead. And my Amazon driver was having a hysterectomy, so I couldn't really tip this guy for his birthday month. I had a lot of other stuff going on.
I think those are two new cuts off that new album we mentioned. Yeah, yeah. All right, now I've got a list here of appropriate tips for people in our lives. I'll tell you the job. You tell me the tip. Restaurant delivery drivers, how much percentage?
10%.
20,
Come on.
20%.
Like they're serving you a full meal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and they're just bringing it to the car. And by the way, their hands are all over it. You
And
think they're not
I'm
in? You think they're not in the bag, Grubhub in your fries? Give me a break.
100%. And
Um,
I'm in a condo building, so that like I have to go out. I do more of the work than they do.
all right. What about a hairstylist or a beautician or someone of that nature? How much should they get?
What is the price of one haircut?
100%. Equivalent to one visit. Very good.
Yeah. Woo!
Very
That was a
good.
guess, but I didn't know how else
Very,
to
very good.
quantify that. Thank you.
Monica, my friend Monica, who still cuts my hair. Yeah, she
Great
does,
job.
Jim. She cuts my hair. I still go see her, and I actually caught her air cutting to have time to finish a story. So she was above my bald head with the scissors, right? Finishing the story. Yeah, true.
That's amazing. Do you now say,
Uh,
time to go get my hair cut?
yeah, right. Why not? Sure, of course. What about like maintenance workers? Maybe a housekeeper, a landscaper. This one's going to kill you because it killed me. Um, people that are around all year long.
Okay, so like a
Like a landscaper in the summer
landscaper, like
might be plowing your snow in the winter, that kind of thing.
sure. Okay. $100?
1 week's pay.
Come on.
Well, this is from U.S. News and World Report, by the way.
Wow.
Um, Trash collectors. And this is a funny one to me because I never figured out what's the safest way to give a trash collector money because they're picking up the garbage can. And they said, you take the envelope to the trash.
I guess they're probably looking for it, right? But not always. Yeah, I think that'd be very difficult.
Well, and then the thing is, but they drive them. They drive the trucks with the giant transformer claws that come down. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't think they want to pick up the garbage any more than anybody else. But then they got to paw through to see if I left you an envelope.
Agreed. There's probably a lot of money in there if we go dumpster diving.
Anyway, 10
I
to
this is a
25 bucks per person.
how many? I mean, do you have a crew
Well,
come in? That's
if you're
interesting.
the Osmonds, the Jacksons, a little more current, maybe the Jonas Brothers, it can get expensive.
Are you, are you just standing out front with like a wad of 20s, just seeing how many people come off the truck?
Right? Yeah, come on. How about dog walkers or dog groomers?
Uh, Here, I think they're going to say for dog walkers 1 week again, but I think that's a lot.
It's a little more than they do, equivalent to one visit.
One visit. Okay, that makes sense.
Your mailman, you can tip him anything you want, but it can't exceed $50.
I did not know that.
What happens if it's over 50? Does someone jump out of the back of the truck? How are they going to know what you gave him?
I feel like he wouldn't tell. You know what I mean? I feel like you
Yeah.
give your mailman $75, he's not sending you to prison.
FedEx team members, you can give them cash, gift cards, gifts. This is funny. Vacations.
Oh
What are
yeah.
they
No,
delivering? What are they delivering to your house?
I took my FedEx
Promotional
driver with me
gifts.
to Cancun.
Well, at least you won't be alone. Flowers and food as well. I for years and years and years on the radio and on TV, listeners and viewers would send in food. I made the interns test it because you
How
don't know
many
what's
interns
coming.
did you lose?
A couple of years, but that's the price of the business.
That's it. That's how it goes.
Now, when to gift rather than tip? Coworkers, supervisors, and bosses, don't give them cash, gift them something. Have you ever, because you had a period of time where you were in the regular workforce, did you ever have
I
to buy
did.
the boss a gift?
Yeah, we would thankfully I was pretty well known to be really bad at handling these things. So it would always just come to me and be like, $25, we're doing a group gift. Just give us your money. We'll get something. And I looked as surprised as the boss did every year when they opened it. I'd be like, oh, that's what
Right.
we got him. Cool. So I
Fantastic.
never had to, yeah. When you're not on a team, that's when it became difficult for me because then I had to start making those decisions. If someone was just there to tell me, hey, peel off a 20 here, great. I could handle all of that. That's why I love
All day
this.
long.
This is very helpful.
And healthcare workers, gifts as well. So, like for instance, the people that kept me alive in a hospital,
Hmm.
as opposed to pretending they were coming in to check on me and covering my head with a pillow. Those folks, you can send them food or flowers, or whatever. But I was told don't send flowers to a hospital because they have to either throw them out or put them in a community space because you don't know who's going to be allergic.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that. Wow. So what
Uh,
do you send? You food? I think food's a good
Yeah,
gift for a hospital.
you know what they seem to really love are those edible fruit deals that are about 900 bucks a piece.
Oh, that's good and nice and reasonable for you. Yeah, and you
Yeah,
have to eat those fast, don't you?
you do. Yeah, the fruit bouquets. Yeah, you don't want to go check on Uncle Bob and it's been sitting there for 3 days. It's not good. So, and I actually have a horrendously embarrassing, humiliating story to tell you, which we can end this on. But I'm wondering, do you have anything horrendously embarrassing to you'd like to admit before I tell you mine?
About anything, or like do
Anything
we
in
have a
life?
subject matter?
Well, this relates to me being in the hospital.
This relates to you being in the hospital.
It could be anything, anything at all. Like you do a thing in your show, which is great, and I'm not going to sell the bit out because it's so well written. There's a great comedian named Larry Miller, who for me is the greatest story writer of stand-up ever, ever, ever.
100%.
If you got some time in your hands, Google Larry Miller, The Nine Stages of Drinking, Larry Miller skiing. Any of those are all great, but they're reminiscent to me of you being hit by a car.
Yes, I was right out. You can't see it, but right out in front of where I live too, which is always a nice reminder every time I go outside to cross over that intersection every single time. I
So
did,
I
and the
hope you
person
tell
who
the
hit me,
story this weekend.
I will tell the story this weekend. Absolutely, I'm not gonna give it to him on air. I'll save it for this
No, no,
weekend.
no, no. And that's not embarrassing or humiliating. But I mean, you're not going to be able to top mine. I might as well tell you anyway.
I'd like to
I've
hear
never
yours.
told. I've never told the story, and after I tell you, you go. You never should have told me now. Um, so when I get the knee replacement the first time, they did regular anesthesia, which I don't know if you know is a giant mallet. They come in, they whack you on the head,
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
and if you're still talking, they hit you a second time. So this time they go, we'd like to try an epidural. Now, do you know what an epidural is?
I've only heard about that with pregnancies.
Exactly right. And as you know, I can't have children. So it's a little sensitive to
Right,
me.
which I'm sorry for bringing it up. That's my fault.
No, 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 I understand. So the epidural is a needle that has to be placed in a very particular area of your spine that renders you without any feeling below the waist. Now, I'm 64 years old. I haven't had feeling below my waist in years. But
Come on.
in this case it's medical. So well, it's a good news, bad news story. So here's what happens. I said, yeah, let's go for the epidural. So we go into the operating room, and I haven't been given any anesthesia yet because this epidural is the thing, right? And a
Hmm.
nurse, a lovely lady, comes up and she says, "I'm going to hug you." And I said, well, "It's very nice. I hadn't gotten emotional yet, but that's very nice." And
Me
she said,
fans
"Well,
every day.
She said, you have to stay very still." And of course, I couldn't help myself at that point. I said, "Do we need to tell these other people to leave and possibly put on a Luther Vandross record and dim the lights?" So she wraps her arms around me and holds me in place because if I flinch when the epidural lady's doing the needle in the back, my feeling's never coming back,
Wow.
ever. So I got the hug for life. I got the epidural, and literally 3 or 4 seconds after I got the epidural, out, completely out. I remember the
Done.
feeling of his gut rushing into my body and then out. I don't know how many kids I had. I must have had several. Um,
Sure.
and then and then at the end of the surgery, they take me back to the room. Now, fast forward, it's an hour later, and my family's there, which makes this even more difficult. But I feel like if I
Oh
say this
no.
out loud, then somehow I make it okay. Okay? Either
Let's
that or
go.
it's the meds talking. So, a 22-year-old nurse, 3 months out of nursing school, couldn't have been nicer. She comes in, she goes, "Mr. Cochran, I think we better get you up to go to the potty." And I said, "Well, that's a great idea, but I have no feeling below my legs or below my belt, and I don't quite know, how we're going to do that." And she goes, "Well, I'm going to help you get in there, but it's been an hour. I think you need to go." And she goes, "Well, you're probably right, but I don't know." And I stood up and I sort of felt like, yeah, it's the right thing to do. And I said, "Yeah, you know what? We should do this." And she looked at me and she said, "Well, you kind of already did."
Oh no.
So while I stood up in front of this 22-year-old nurse, I peed on the floor
Oh no.
in front of my two adult children and my wife.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Your adult
Yeah.
children had to be like,
Now,
we weren't ready for this yet.
no, no, no. No, they actually, it's funny. My son was so quick about it. He was actually calling nursing homes while it was going on. He was just skipping those steps in between. He's going, let's
You've
get
been
him in
waiting for the
today. Yeah,
sign.
yeah, yeah.
I am
So
power
that
of
to
attorney
me,
now.
I've got a busy, active life, a lot of things. That to me is number one. That's the most humiliating thing ever. By the way, the nurse couldn't care less.
I've
Couldn't care
had
less.
that
She
happen
goes,
before, right?
it's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. And then to make me feel better, she peed on the floor. No, no,
Oh,
no, she
good.
didn't.
All
Of course she didn't. But
right,
it reminds me to respect these people who take care of you, doctors, nurses, hospital nurses in these hospitals, because they could be dealing with someone like me. It's not easy.
100%. I'll share one with you real quick before we get out of
Okay,
here.
good,
Now
good,
that
good, good, good.
I know where we're at. I Earlier this year I had to have an angiogram done for the first time. They wanted to
Yeah.
look at my heart, and everything went great. But they wheel you out like the nurse was wheeling you around, explaining what's going to happen. They're very busy, right? And they're running late,
Sure.
so they're like, there's like three people working on me at once. You know, it's happening. The prep is happening very quickly, and she goes, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna anesthetize you, and we're gonna send a camera up through your right wrist all the way up to your wrist so we can see your heart, right? But just in case we can't get in through your right wrist, we need a backup plan." So do you know what their backup plan is, Steve?
Through your crotchal area.
She goes, "We're gonna shave your groin just in case. Do you have any questions?" And I was like, "Just one. What's wrong with my other wrist?" That seems like a much better backup plan, right? Like, like my groin is so far away. Why would you do
That's
that to me?
tremendous. That's
I feel
tremendous.
like my belly button feels like it was made for this. It's a sheath going in. It's
Sure.
doing it's closer. I mean, it was just unbelievable. But I never got an answer because I was out. Like the moment she said that, I was onto something. Like they're like, he knows, crank him up. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And then
Well,
they hit me over the head with one of those mallets just to be sure.
I had the angiogram at one point too, and the nurse who came in recognized me, and she said, "My mom is going to be so excited. My mom loves you." And I said, "Wow, okay, that's great." She said, "Well, we have to do this angiogram thing," and she said, "I'm going to shave you." And I, like an idiot, right? I'm going, "Okay, how does that really?" She goes, "Not there." And then she holds up the razor, and I promise you this is true. She holds up the razor and she says, "Getting to know you, getting to know all about you." And I passed out a few seconds later.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a bit. Do you think she gave her mom a lock of your hair since she was a big fan?
I'm guessing like the 22-year-old, she's out of the business.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. They both quit those days. Jim Flannigan, I love you, buddy. You are tremendous. And where do people follow you on social?
At Jimmy Flann, FLANN, jimflannigan.com for upcoming shows. Steve, you're the best. I can't thank you enough for having me. This is an honor. It's a dream come true.
You're the best.
You become a friend, but I'm such a fan of your work. I can't thank you enough for having me on.
And we've talked about this off the air. We're trying to get schedules to match. We just had a couple of great shows at the Copley in Aurora, and hopefully we'll be able to go back there in the fall. But even still, you're going to join us for at least one show, if not more, in 2026, right?
I would love to. Absolutely.
And the us, by the way, is Tim Becker and Mike Toomey. So that's
Some
the
of the best in the biz. And yeah, Mike Toomey, no one has influenced me more, makes me laugh harder. I just, man, it's an incredible show with the three of you. I'd be honored
we
to
had
be
a good
part of it.
time. It's Jim Flanagan at Zany's this weekend. It is now December 8th. You got a couple of days, but don't wait. Buy your tickets now. How do they get tickets to the Zany's shows, and when are they?
Zanies.com, December 12th and 13th, this Friday and Saturday. I'll be at Zanies in Chicago, two shows each night. Tickets are selling fast. And then Sunday in Rosemont. They tell me there's a handful of tickets available, but if I'm being honest, I feel like you could fit a lot of tickets in someone's hand. So let's get them. Let's get those tickets moving. And I'd love to see you out there.
You're going to be great. If this comes along, I may crawl in and just whimper from the back while you're on.
I would love to see you. I'd love to throw you some time if you came out.
Yeah, trying to figure out how we get me on stage. Don't worry about it. Probably
Can we
involves
wheel
a
you in?
probably involves a nurse in an accident.
We are
It's
going to shave
Jim.
your groin if you come.
It's Shave Your Groin Night at Zany's. It's Jim Flannigan. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Steve.
And this is Anything But Politics, produced by Ross Cochran. Ross, thank you. I know you didn't mind having to listen to that story a second time because you witnessed it the first time. And trust me, in the will, you're getting more than your sister. And thank you guys for listening, for watching on YouTube. I am live from my recliner until further notice. See you next time on Live from My Office.
Thank you for listening to Live from My Office, a service of Monkey Run Productions. All rights reserved. The podcast is hosted by Steve Cochran, and it's mixed, edited, and produced by me, Ross Cochran. Steve is available for corporate speaking gigs. He would love to MC your event, and occasionally, he's funny. Thank you for listening. Head to cochranshow.com for more.